Hello and welcome to ScrewyLoops, and tonight we're joined by Nick Hutson, the composer for Theme Park Fan, the musical, and many rides, many favourite rides.
Yes, and pizza and pasta at Alton Towers.
Yes.
And pizza and pasta. Yeah, hi, thank you, Chris. It's lovely to be here.
So, how are you doing? You had a good time with
good.
With the snow?
I enjoyed the snow. It was lovely. We had quite a lot actually today, and I went for a walk, which was exhausting. But yeah, so at times like this, any excuse to get out of the house is excellent.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on your wonderful YouTube channel.
Thank you for joining in.
Or should I say, thank you for having me on your wonderful YouTube channel.
Yeah, but like I said, guys, I don't live stream very often, so this is going to be quite, casual, chatty kind of thing. We're not as professional as like Coaster Gen and the he's helping out with the stream, so he's sorted all that stuff out for us. So really appreciate that. We might be having another guest on later on as well. So if you see someone pop up, that's Owen, and we'll get to him later. So yeah. So let's just start with what is Theme Park Fan the musical, and where did it all start?
What is Theme Park Fan the musical? There's so many answers to that question, most of which I can't repeat. But it is arguably, I think you pointed out, it's the biggest UK theme park collaboration project there's ever been, and it's for that I'm most proud. It's a musical that is this new genre of theatre that's occurred during lockdown, is kind of digital musicals. We're not doing we're not doing like the TikTok Ratatouille musical or anything like that. There is going to be a video, but it's mostly like a sort of audio play, I guess you could call it. So it's purely audio, and it's a little hour and 10-minute piece about the theme park community, starring the theme park community, either playing themselves.
Well. I just got to put that in there.
Either playing themselves or playing other people. But yeah, I think it's something that's needed. I think it's a bit meta because we're releasing it on February the 6th. At 7:30, which should be a time when the community is together, and the fact that the musical is set in Blackpool at opening weekend, and we're releasing it at opening weekend. It's got this weird kind of, I should be with all these people, but I'm not, and all these voices that I recognise. It's a bit Inception-y, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like an alternate universe, basically. Like we should be in Blackpool, but instead we've got this musical, and we're going to watch it live. And when's it live? Just
so we are February the 6th, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. is on my YouTube channel. There's going to be exclusively the premiere, and the video will live on that channel for all time. And sorry, I found a feather that I'm playing with. It's lovely. Anyway, the cushion upon which my derriere is placed. Okay.
Awesome. Get him in.
But yeah, so this has been a project. I'm going to introduce Owen Evans, who is a genius in my mind. Hello, Owen.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Very good. It's sorry I'm a little late. It's actually quite apt because I was literally just recording my very last bit of Theme Park Fan the musical. You've just caught me as I've just wrapped Theme Park Fan the musical.
Fresh off the recording then.
I'm surprised you have any voice left.
Oh yeah, I'm very croaky because of a certain character that I was just voicing, but I don't want to give too much away about that.
So yeah, I mean that's what Theme Park Fan the musical is, Chris. I hope everyone's excited for it. But there's a couple of other things we're doing. We're working with Aroma Prime, who are going to be releasing a scent appropriate enough for their Theme Park Fan range, called well, we'll let them reveal what it's called when it's announced soon. And we are also working with Calm, which is a wonderful male mental health charity. And we think we're up to £710 already.
That's crazy. Last time I checked, it was 500. I thought,
I know,
oh, we'd smash that.
And the show isn't even released yet. So I think it proves, A, that people are excited for the piece, which is great. But B, it's very, very important that we do support this charity. Calm is, they support a support centre. They support a support centre for men who aren't feeling their best, and it's a suicide prevention helpline, effectively, to not beat around the bush. And I think it's great that we, especially at this incredibly difficult time, the musical touches on community and friendship and things like that, which is really important as well. But I think it's, we have to realize that as well. So I think there's a link somewhere. I don't know.
Sorry. Yeah, basically, if you can donate, please donate. Even if it's a small amount, the link's in the description below. And it's Calm, which is campaign against living miserably.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the name.
Yeah.
So like I said, like we've hit £700, which is insane already. Like, and it's not even dropped yet. The target was originally 500. I reckon we could smash 1,000 before.
I hope so.
Even drops.
And also, Roma Prime are giving all their profits to the charity as well from everything they sell from the product they're making. So that's great. With £710, we have 42 people support us. Even $100 from Disney legend Alan Menken, which is
crazy.
That was a big morale boost for the team. Speaking of the team, Owen Evans, introduce yourself, please.
Hello. So yeah, I'm Owen, and I've sort of, I guess, been Nick's kind of musical second in command on this musical since it started. Since we started messing with ideas way back in March or April, whenever it was.
Was it? God.
Yeah, I think so.
And you are you're kind of, how the heck would you describe Owen Evans? You're a kind of pirate, in case you couldn't tell if you move your head for a second. You're a pirate, folk rock, musical theatre mashup, aren't you, Owen?
Bit of everything. I mean, I play in a pirate metal band called Iron Seawolf. I play accordion in that band and write most of the music as well. And but yeah, I do all kinds of things. I do folk metal, musical theatre, sort of, film score composing and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, what you've done on this is wicked, though. Like, from what I've heard,
quite literally at some points. I mean, I thought Owen was the best person to bring on board because would you say there's a fair bit of rock music in the show, Owen?
There is quite a lot of rock. I mean, the show is insanely eclectic in terms of the styles of music. Like, we jump from, what do we jump from? We jump from like 80s rock to rap to gospel to rap to tango.
There's something for
salsa. Yeah. So we're keeping everyone happy with it. But so I thought Owen was the best person to bring on board because rock music relies a lot on live playing. So a lot of the music I've done is at home on the keyboard, and it sounds pretty good, I think. But there's some bits that you just can't replicate with computers yet. So like real guitar playing, and even we got the magnificent Serena Cherry to come on board and parody her Creek Freak Massacre soundtrack sound. There is a song about, well, it's not about, but it's kind of, it is a song set in a scare maze in this musical. So there's lots of musical collaboration going on, but Owen has been excellent at doing all the big backing vocals.
Yeah, there's some songs that have about 14 different me's, all like in harmony. Yeah.
And you are a musical genius, Owen, and you're immensely talented. And I'm thrilled that you. Okay.
No, don't carry on.
And I'm just as you know, thrilled that you've been part of this. And I hope when people listen to the show, they realise it's not just something that I've put out there. This is something that over 25 people have now been involved with, whether it's logo design, music production, voice work, directing, coordinating, set design, video production. You know, and that's what's so meta about this piece. And it is about the people that are helping put this on, they're in the show playing themselves, and it's just utterly bizarre.
Let's talk about who's in the show, like involved in. Obviously, don't give too much away. I mean,
no.
I'm just saying.
I mean, well, to be honest, the cast list has been out there for ages, so we're not giving anything away by revealing that. The problem is there's so many people. I need to get the cast list up so I can actually have a look. But it's a great mix of people, and I say 99% of them are goons. And goon, by which I mean, people who would go to Blackpool in February for some bizarre reason and freeze themselves to death on Valhalla. So it's starring Ryan Nixon, who is a incredibly well-trained actor and musical theatre performer. There's a wonderful actress called Leah Harlan, who isn't really part of the community, but you might have seen her at Shrek's Adventure and places like that. The formidable Archie Stephen is playing Zach F. Stone. And we have Dylan Lee, appropriate enough, playing a character called Dylan, which is a complete coincidence, and I'll leave that at that before we reveal too much. Hannah Jarvis is playing the owner of the theme park in Blackpool, Miranda Timpson, OBE. Someone called Owen Evans, I don't know who that is yeah, is playing two characters. One is called the Yen Rav, and one is simply called Sam. And Kieran Quinn, who's also helping out with set visualizations, is playing a character called Jack. So it's a great mix of people. But then there's the cameos. In alphabetical order, Michael Bolton, John Burton, Serena Cherry, Chris Davenport, Adam Eldritch, Pontus Hallsberg, Kip Hakes, Chris Heath, Nikki Heath, Jordan Middleton, Nicole Perkins, Jack Silkstone, Hannah Stewart, Mikey Stewart, Stephen Bigg, Ruby Withers, and John Wardley. So I think...
No, it's biblical.
Yeah.
Got John Wardley in there.
It kind of works out quite well that his name ends in alphabetical order.
And John Wardley. All planned.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's a great collection of people, and yeah, that's the musical effectively.
I was going to point out there, like I said to you earlier, this is literally the biggest theme park collaboration project I've ever seen, especially one of being involved in. Even though what I do in it is a relatively minor part, it's made such a massive impact on my life as well already, because with lockdown and everything, and you're stuck in the house all the time, and being a YouTuber as well, I'm kind of burnt out by doing videos and that, so it's nice to do something different. And you can tell as well, like everyone who's involved have gave it their all, and it's honestly, it's one of those you need to experience it just to see how much effort has been put into this.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of has a sort of, if you know these people, it kind of has a sort of pantomime feel, doesn't it, Owen? And the fact that it doesn't really matter that they can't really sing, because they're trying their best. And the surprising thing is they can sing. And, there's this big song that a lot of the geeks appear in, Chris included. But you can sing, Chris, so you're not included in this description. But it's it's a song that doesn't really have much massive range, and that was done entirely on purpose to kind of make sure that we can give these lines to certain people, and it works incredibly well, I think. But hopefully the audience will agree.
Yeah, that was the first song that really sort of fully came together with all the different people getting slotted into it, and it was just so nice for us, specifically like me and Nick, who've been working with this for so long, to finally hear one of these songs with loads of different people on. It was kind of magical, really.
Yeah. And it was even nice to hear the song without me on it, which, because I cannot sing, listeners, viewers. So and that song is about nerds. So it's all about, all the songs are about nerds because it's incredibly nerdy musical. But I think it's a big effort, but it's worth it. I think once you hear it all come together, which I think this time tomorrow, Owen, we will have a complete show, won't we?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Something of a complete show.
Yeah.
I mean, like you show me, like it's like an early version of it, and like already I'm just like stoked at how it's come around to be this big. I mean, how much? I mean, you know more than us, Nick and Owen as well, really. How much this has kind of excelled over the past few months. Like, talk about that. Like, how come it's just suddenly just blown up? Is that something you felt like pursuing, or?
Well, it was. We wanted to get it out for opening weekend, and it was getting to December, and I thought, let's just try it. Let's just, the songs are written, and then we got Dylan Lee on board, who is a fellow goon, but he's also a trained theatre director, an actor, and singer, and he just kind of kicked it all into gear. And then John Burton from Alton Towers came on board and designed us a logo, which also kicked people into, and it was little things coming together. And Owen kind of took over the music again. I did all the tracks, but Owen kind of was able to do more singing and was able to do a bit of guitar work here and there. And that, I think, certainly as far as Owen is concerned, seeing a cast appear.
Oh yeah.
The fact that this is actually a thing that
because there was a time early on when I was just going to have to voice everyone, and I was just getting a bit
and record all the tracks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it was so nice to all of a sudden, Dylan brought so many people on board. So having all these people all of a sudden, it was just so nice. Yeah.
And we only had a read through 3 weeks ago this weekend. So effectively, we put an audio production together in 3 weeks, which is fine because that's what I do. And it because we're not relying so much on video, it's a lot easier for people at home to just record onto their phone a spoken line or a sung line here and there, and that's their bit done. They can just sit back and enjoy the product once it's there. But I think we've got a good load of talent in this show, whether it's creative or performer wise. And I'm Chris, I'm thrilled that you love the product because you're able to speak from it from an emotional point of view, because I can't.
Yeah.
Because if you work on something, you just lose all. It's like you edit videos and stuff. You get so bored just getting the perfect cuts, but you never get the full effect
I can relate.
of what it's like to watch something for the first time. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think if you think it works, Chris, that you're a good litmus test, and we're having a little preview next weekend for people to come and listen to it, and then the big day is February the 6th at 7:30. Yeah,
I mean, literally from the second you sent me the song that I'm on, I don't want to give too much away. I started recording my parts. I haven't sung in a very long time, I'll be honest. Like when I used to be in a band, we're talking before Backseat Blackout, that's when I was in a band and I used to do singing. And it wasn't necessarily singing, it was a bit more shouty. So like to actually, sit down and record something it was so nice for me to get back into. And it just gave me the itch. I sent it back to Nick and I was like, you know what, anything you need, I'm more than happy to help out. And you sent me a few more things to get involved with, and I've absolutely loved it. Even though I'm involved with it, I still feel like probably the biggest fan, if that makes sense.
Well, you're the biggest theme park fan. I mean, you're certainly a wonderful pusher of the piece, which is amazing. And the fact that it's why I wanted to talk to you about it, because you love it as well, and you were saying yesterday you listened to it again and you got enthused all of a sudden about it, which proves it works as a kind of. It was originally going to be a concept album, just songs, I think, with tiny bits of narration and dialogue, but it's now turned into a full audio production with sound effects and audio spatial effects and smells that you can buy and things. And that's what's great about this is it is an immersive experience. I know we joke about that, but it's quite immersive, isn't it, Owen?
I think it's come at a good time as well. Like me personally, anyway. Because Hamilton recently come out on Disney Plus,
Yeah.
And my wife, Rachel's like, we've got to watch this. We've got to watch this. I wasn't like super fussed about it because I like musical, but I'm not like a musical buff, if you know what I mean. And honestly, I listened to that. I've been listening to the soundtrack on repeat. And then once, Nick, you messaged me and Dylan as well, get involved. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get involved and do this.
But also the great thing about you, Chris, is you have an incredibly recognizable voice, which works really well for an audio production because the minute you speak, people know who you are.
People
and,
run.
Well, no, but also you can sing, so it's a lovely blend, and you're a great person to have in the show. I mean, you've got a little couple of solos, and you've got a spoken line, and that's it. That's what's great about this is we're all going to be sitting here waiting to hear, Chris's line or John's line, or I'm thrilled with it, and thank you, Chris, as well.
Thank you for getting me involved. Like I said, it's just brilliant, isn't it? I'm just wondering, should we go to the questions now?
Sure.
I'll have a look on Twitter.
Okay.
First,
Twitter.
because I know there's a Twitter, so I know there's a few questions on here, and obviously I don't want to leave anyone out. So we've got Ruby. Ruby said, "Such a stylized icon of a man," and the question is, what was the most challenging song to write and put together?
I want to know the difference between write and put together. A challenging song to write, probably the the song that is halfway through that's really, really, really enjoyable. And I don't want to reveal too much, but there's at one point it was 4, but there's 3-part counterpoint in that song. And I know when Owen was recording it, it's probably quite thrilling to hear it all come together. And that was not tricky to write, but the thing is, because I'm doing the lyrics as well. Comedy songs, there's a balance between the music being fun but not overpowering the lyrics, because in like a ballad where the lyrics are very "I love you," sloshy, all that kind of stuff, the music is prevalent. But in most comedy songs, the music has to take a backseat, blackout, to the to the words, and I think it's a good balance in that song. It's not really a comedy song; it's a very true song.
Yeah, but it's like it's kind of a parody of something, isn't it? As well, it's a parody of a couple of things. And I think one of the things about when you're doing a parody is the best parodies are always the ones that do it totally properly, which I think we've done here.
What, in your mind, Owen, if you take Ruby's question, was the hardest song to put together? Because you've done a lot of the putting together with vocals stuff and.
So definitely the hardest one to put together is the one that I've just finished recording now, which it comes in sort of towards the beginning of the second act. It's a completely insane song that has kind of creepy carnival elements, heavy metal elements, and there's so much to come together. It's like a lot of very vocally challenging stuff for me because of the character that I'm playing in this song. And also just, it's a song where there's so many different sections and there's bits of dialogue in between. And then there's so many different people involved in that one as well. Like, as Nick was saying before, we got Serena Cherry doing the guitars at the end. So that's come in.
We've got Pontus playing a vicar.
There's Pontus from Liseberg playing a vicar. And it's kind of all all over the place in a very wonderfully chaotic way, that song.
So the way the way that song was put together was I wrote it. I would do a very dummy demo vocal, and then I remember Pontus came in, and that was when we first looked at the idea of having kind of cameos in this show. He was the first one to say, "Well, can I have a cameo?" And we went, "That's quite an interesting idea." So we put him in it. And then we got Ryan, who's playing Jamie, to record his dialogue. Then Owen recorded his character's dialogue. And then I put that in the track. Then I had to edit the length of the tracks to match the new speed of the dialogue, and it extended the song by about a minute. This is now an 8.5-minute production number, as Owen probably realizes now. And then I sent that back to Owen, and he was able to record the vocals, which he will send to me, which I will then put into the track, mix, add all sorts of wonderful special effects, and also add to that Serena's guitar stuff, which she got the track, recorded her guitar stuff, sent that to me, I put it in. So it's a very, it's something that could only be done in lockdown. I think, this is ultimately a lockdown musical, and people have to realize that when they listen to it, because they're all hearing different people's microphones, they're all hearing different people's singing abilities in some cases. So it's not going to sound 110% amazing like it would if we went into a studio. We do want to go into a studio and do a studio recording based on this, so we'll probably do that when we're allowed to. So yeah, that's a good answer, I think, because it's also the most collaborative song. It has a lot of different things coming from different people. Well, Serena and me and you, Owen.
And Ryan and Leah and Pontus.
And Ryan and Leah and Pontus.
The list just keep adding up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to add to that question with, so I know the song you're on about, and you said to me you had Nightwish was a big influence on that song.
Yeah. So for me...
What other influences has influenced the musical in, like, overall? Like, anything else you can say that made you...
Well, I think Owen should tell the Nightwish story, because it's quite interesting.
Well, because Nightwish are my favourite band of all time, and
they're awesome, man.
And Nick wrote the first version of this song, the very sort of earliest draft, and my first thought was, oh, there's a Nightwish song that this reminds me of. It was Scare Tale, which is their kind of creepy, haunted housey kind of
which
song.
Is an album about a theme park, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it comes from the album Imaginarum, which is kind of inspired by sort of magical fantasy theme parks. And this particular song's inspired by Haunted House dark rides. And it even quotes the soundtrack from Disney's Haunted Mansion at one point in the song. But the intro of it,
and this is when Owen
sounded very, very similar to the intro that Nick came up on. Oh, sorry. So I was like, oh, you need to listen to this song. And then that sparked further Nightwish influence to be brought into the song. So it turned into kind of more of a heavy metal, symphonic metal kind of a thing later on in the production.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Good song.
But it's cool that, I can do something completely subliminally. I mean, I didn't know Nightwish until Owen pointed them out to me, and I now absolutely adore them. I've got a very strong affinity for heavy metal meeting symphonic music. There's just something so exciting about having amazing orchestra stuff, and then having just a screaming electric guitar in there. And I think that's very evident.
I could recommend so much more to you. There's a whole world out there.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to Dream Theater?
I'm sure Serena could as well, because she's into that sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
Dream Theater as well, absolutely. Yeah,
6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence is pretty much like a musical in itself. Yeah.
It is, and like the overture from that. That is just one of my favorite overtures, and it's not even from an actual musical.
It's awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Speaking of overtures, should we tease something from this meeting? Should we play the overture for everyone out there, because everyone's being very lovely listening to this? So let's do that. This is the overture for Theme Park Family Musical. Very
exclusive right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Sorry about the earphones coming out. This is why I need
That's
earphones.
You got so excited. Of course, echoes of Theme Park Fan, the song in there, which we haven't mentioned, which was the kind of impetus behind. I think that's one of the questions: is why did I write this show in the first place? I think that was a question on Twitter or something, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
Because I kept being hounded to do something with another theme park fan, which for those who don't know is a sort of song that I wrote in 2018 that kind of hit the zeitgeist, didn't it, Owen? I mean, you parodied it in your was it Sandwich Mum or something?
Oh,
song you did? Yeah.
Yeah. There was a bit in that where it's like, I'm a theme park fan. Woo, yeah.
Yeah. So someone said, "Oh, do a song about scare mazes. Do a song about do another theme park fan." So I thought, okay, well, sure, let's do a whole musical based around it. So you've got the song already, from which you can build an entire score. So that's how the musical came to be, really.
It's a crazy passion project because it's not something you can do within a couple of weeks. It's like is it taking about a year, you'd say? About a year's worth of work almost?
Writing it was the longest bit, wasn't it, Owen? Kind of and just working with Ryan as well, because it was me, Owen, and Ryan for a very long time, just talking about characters and situations. And what you have to remember about musical theatre is that it's the most collaborative art form there is, because if the writer wants to change something, that then if this were a real production, you'd have if I want to go in and say, that line doesn't work, I want to change it to this slightly longer line, that then affects all the lighting cues, all the music stuff going on, all the sound cues, all the stage man. So everything can affect everything else much more than a play or a film, because you can all edit it afterwards. Not in a play, obviously, but so it was very much lots of discussions between me, Owen, and Ryan early on, and it was me just kind of tinkering away, writing a lot of songs. The role of Jamie was specifically written for Ryan because he has an astonishing vocal range.
Ridiculous range.
His favorite character in the world is Elphaba from Wicked. So when I gave him the chance to sing some of the notes that Idina Menzel famously did in Wicked, that was great, and we even make reference to that in a couple of the songs. And plus, there's lots of musical theatre references in this show as well, which some of the people might not get. But if you know Les Mis, if you know Wicked, if you know Evita, if you know Gypsy, if you know Sweeney Todd, if you know Billy Elliot, if you know some music hall stuff, there's a bit of music hall in there. So I think it's you'd be lost if you didn't get musicals or theme parks when you went listening to this show, because there's certainly something for a lot of people, for people that like both those things. But I think that's kind of the story as to how it came to be.
Yeah, I'll say theme parks and musicals kind of go hand in hand anyway. I think a lot of theme park enthusiasts do have a love for musicals.
Well, they do, because you're asking people to suspend their disbelief, which is what one does in a theme park, and what certainly one does in a musical, because suddenly people burst into song completely. When they run out of the words to say, they sing, and when you run out of the things to sing, you dance. That's generally how musicals work. And this show makes no. It makes no. What do I mean, Owen? It is very, very strongly a musical, and it doesn't lie about that at any point, does it?
Sure.
There will just suddenly be a song, and it's good fun, and I think there's a lot in it for, again, theme park fans, musical theatre fans, but there's also not incredibly, there's a lovely little message in it as well, which is also important in any piece of art that you present to people, which is be nice to everyone, please. We are a community, and we do love this ridiculous thing together, and that's what we hope this show can bring to people.
Yeah, the story is sort of universally relatable, I think, for anyone, not just theme park goons. It's ultimately it's just about someone trying to get in with a new group of people, and the little mistakes that he makes along the way of doing that, and lessons learnt.
I mean, Ryan plays Jamie, who is a new vlogger in the community. He does like theme parks, but it's the first time he's gone to this legendary opening weekend, and he's seen all these vloggers, on YouTube. So he's there, and he's excited to meet them all. But he wants to be the best and the brightest star on the promenade. So it's his journey being guided through the kind of traditions of opening weekend and the choices he makes and how it affects everything else and stuff like that. So I think it's certainly, we've all had our first time in Blackpool. For a southerner, it's an incredibly interesting experience, like me. And we've all had our first time going to a major event where all these people we idolize are there, whether it's a convention or starting a new job, or even going to opening weekend. It's a rite of passage, and that's what this musical is about. It's about this character Jamie experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, and I think as well, being how close the community is, I'm thinking I know it's going to sound absolutely insane, but I imagine 20 years, 30 years from now, people will probably still go back to this musical, and it'll just bring them back to this kind of time period where we all meet up. We had whatever. I don't want to give too much away.
No.
But, so basically, I just think it's going to be huge. I think, like I said, biggest theme park collaborative project I've ever seen. And as well, it's big in scope, but it's also big in ambition, and I just can't wait to see what people think about it. So,
well, that's very kind, and we don't want to leave this as just an audio, because it is just an audio thing at the moment. We'd like eventually to either stage it somewhere. Blackpool makes sense.
Pleasure Beach.
Yeah, or do. I personally see it as a film, because it's all told through vlogs, so you could do some quite clever things with the parody vloggers. I mean, we do parody vloggers, but parody visually the different vloggers and things. But it's great, the fact that it can work as an audio drama, it can work as a film thing, it can work as a series of vlogs. You could do a sort of Dr. Horrible sing-along blog style thing where you have it in 3 different parts, and then do a musical as a commentary. Or it could just be a stage show. We are designing it as a stage show as regards the set pieces that Kieran is working on, which will be part of the video as you watch it when we're releasing it. But yeah, so that's a great thing about a piece of writing, is it can work in, I'm not going to write the novel or anything, but I think it's be very short. But I think it can be presented in multiple ways, which is great.
Right, because I'm quite aware of time. I'm going to go to another question. I think we might have answered a few questions already that have been mentioned. So if I do gloss over anyone's question, it's just because we've already covered it. It's good against you, don't worry. Right, so we've got hello Joe from Parksville. Do you have a favourite song from the musical? This goes for all of us. So start with you, Nick.
The one I think of when I think of the show is the opening, because it just sums everything up about opening weekend, and it's a great fun tune, and it appears in various ways throughout the show. So it's this kind of motif piece, and it's the one Owen really went to town on with his instrumental, because it's kind of your core track that you put together.
That track's kind of my baby, that one, isn't it? Because I did all the instrumentation for that one, and arrangements and everything.
And he did the original vocals, which most of which is still there. But then to add the solos onto it was really nice as well, to hear it come together as a full piece. So So that's probably my answer. It's probably going to be everyone else's answer as well.
It's a fun tune, man. That's all I'm going to say. It's just good fun.
Yeah, that's the one that's been around the longest as well. Like we finished that ages ago.
Yeah. What's your favourite then, Owen?
I do have a soft spot for that one, but I don't think it's my favourite, possibly just because I'm like too close to that one. I think my favourites are the one I mentioned earlier, the Crazy Carnival one, and also the Act 1 finale, which we mentioned before, because it's just so, it just parodies so many existing musical theatre Act 1 finales. It's your typical big epic Act 1 finale. It's just great. And so many vocal layers in that one too.
I know that's Chris's answer as well, I think, isn't it? The Act 1 finale.
Yeah, the finale is brilliant. Yeah, Act 1 finale. Like I said, I don't want to mention any names, but the way I describe it is the chorus is that big. That makes the big one look like a big apple. So, prepare yourselves. It's huge.
On the poster. That's great.
Honestly, it just keeps building and building and building, and suddenly it just explodes. And that's all I'm going to say. It's just fantastic. So
and that was an example of me hearing what Owen did and changing tiny bits of the arrangement to match the epic thing that Owen did. Because there's a bit where originally it didn't happen, but when Owen sent me his tracks, I thought, okay, let's cut a bit of the orchestra off and just have it be this kind of massive a cappella moment leading into a key change, and that really lifts the piece up for the listener, I think. So that's what I love about these kind of projects is someone else will do something, and then you will react off that and make it better.
Yeah, because the songs, all of them, to an extent, have evolved so much from the original concept, which has just been really exciting. The way everyone's contributions has caused the song to take on new life.
Yeah. And special credit to Archie Stephen, the arch nemesis, for coming in. And I'd written a rap song, which he then took. We worked, Archie and I worked on it together, and that's a bit of a banger as well, I think.
I think that might be a potential fan favourite. Like, from my first reaction of hearing that, I was like, oh, wow.
but he's parodying himself, which is great, but he's also parodying Jack Silkstone, because, the opening lines of the song are, yo, guys, what is up? And then we have Jack Silkstone also appear in the musical. So it's this kind of weird...
he has a hilarious line, Jack. That's all I'm going to say.
It does have this very kind of alternate universe thing, which is really cool.
Right, let's move on. Let's have a look what we've got. So, Twitter. Let's have a look at you again. We've answered that one.
By the way, guys, I am reading the live chats, and we will get to those questions as well. Don't think we're forgetting you. It's just there's a lot going on at the moment.
There's a bit of a technical question here. I'm not really sure what this means. Nick, you might know. Sam Costello, big shout out to you, mate. What DAW do you use and why?
What DAW do I use? I use Logic Pro 10, unlike Owen, who uses Logic Pro 9. I use Logic Pro 9
because I haven't upgraded to 10 yet.
No idea what they are. Are they just audio editing softwares?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so it's Apple's audio production suite. It's very cheap, and it's very excellent, and they keep adding more things, and you never have to, once you bought it, Owen will, because he won't upgrade to 10, but they keep adding things, like this amazing thing called Drummer that can just look at your track and build a drum track around it, which is quite impressive. There's lots of pitch correction. You can add your own instruments. It has samplers and blah 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 blah. There are other versions like I think Ableton and Pro Tools and things, but this is kind of, I'm an Apple guy, so this is Apple's software made for the hardware, and it just works. And it's made a lot of this musical very easy because I just know my way around it. Owen knows his way around it, and we can just kind of send each other stuff, which is it's really cool. So I hope that answers that question.
Awesome. Right, hang on, let's just go to it. Sorry, because I've got some questions on Twitter. I think I've only got the one on Facebook. Just bear with me a moment. I'll just try and pick that up.
What's up, Facebook users? You suck.
How's it going in the chat, by the way? Sorry, we haven't really looked at the chat too much just yet. We will get to you. Yeah, I've got it. Sam Costello. Again,
Yeah.
vaguely, how many hours do you, hang on, how many hours do you think you spend on Zoom with the cast members, like in total? Like,
Well, there's been a couple of Saturdays where we've just been on Zoom all day, and we just had it open for people to come and pop in and have any questions. So probably around 25, because it hasn't been that long since we've all been a big cast and a crew. It's only been 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. But Owen and I together, we were Skyping a lot with Ryan over, initial lockdown, weren't we? So, but you have to keep communicating. You can't just kind of change something without, without going through the team. I came up with an idea today that was quickly removed, but you have to keep everyone in the loop, because that's the nature of what musicals are about. Again, going back to being the most collaborative thing in the world. But so it was a lot of meetings back and forth. There's about 12,000 separate group chats we have going on, but I think it's ultimately worth it, because it has to happen. Normally you'd all be in a room together 5 days a week, 7 days a week, lots and lots of meetings, but we just can't do that. And that was the hardest thing for the actors, was recording their dialogue without having anyone to bounce off of. So Owen is an actor, so you can explain that more than I can.
Yeah, because obviously the way someone keyboard nearly fell over there. The way someone says a line obviously dictates how you then respond to it. So not having that sort of instant feedback does make it a lot more challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, so but also you get an energy from a rehearsal room, don't you? You sort of got that first initial day that we kind of had at the read.
There was an element of that,
yeah. But it's nothing like being in person. So hopefully in the future we will be all in a room together, able to be within 6 feet of each other as well. Fingers crossed.
We've got James. Sorry, I'm sorry if I butcher this. James Muir. What is your favourite piece of music you have composed? I think this means altogether. But if you want to, I think you answered it before about the musical. What your favourite one was, but
me, it's always difficult for me to answer, because I don't really have any connection to any of the pieces I've done. I think what I'm working on at the moment is quite up there. Tomb Blaster, I'm incredibly proud of. Subspecies, I think, will always kind of be the albatross around my neck. It's just Bouncezilla, even though I didn't compose any of that, I just beat matched a lot of it. Sorry, but my noise is coming in. It's difficult to answer that question, because it kind of just, you forget about things, and it's not about what I like; it's about what the guests like. That's
was you involved with Hex? No, I don't know where I heard that from. Someone mentioned it. I think people make stuff up.
I'd like to be, because it's the best theme park music in the country.
It is good, to be honest.
That piece is just astonishing, and so complex as well compared to what you get. It's just an absolutely beautiful piece of music. Owen, what's your favourite piece of music you've ever worked on?
Not that any of the music that I've written is perhaps as well known amongst the viewers as yours, Nick. But probably my favourite piece of music I ever wrote was I did the score for a theatrical production of Shakespeare's *Midsummer Night's Dream*, and the whole dance sequence at the end. I did this big sort of Celtic dance section at the end. That's probably my favourite thing I've ever composed.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're very talented, Owen, and I hope I can work with you for real projects in the future, because guys out there, you have no idea how talented Owen is. So if you are looking for any kind of vocals or instrumentals for anything, go to Owen Evans' music, because he is absolutely incredible. He is your guy.
He did an awesome. Well, I wouldn't say it's not really a vocal cover, but Coaster Gen he did.
Yeah, because Luke did the metal version of the Wicker Man theme, and I thought it sounded like Metallica, so I did a James Hetfield impression on top of it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's like uncanny. Like when you listen to it, it just sounds like a Metallica track. I was like, oh, this is crazy. You can manage to do that. It's really good, man. I'm going to go to the live chat for more questions. I've looked at the other questions.
I'm happy to stay. I don't know if you're happy to stay as well, Owen. I know you said you can.
I can stay a little longer. Yeah.
I'm more than happy to carry on if you two are happy. So, I'm just going to scroll up to where Coaster Jen says, "Get your questions in now," and I'll just pick some questions that we haven't really answered. We've got Sam Costello again. He's getting questions in, good ones. Will the rides themselves be represented much throughout the musical?
No. Obviously, we've been very careful with kind of not naming things for obvious reasons. We tried to make this musical as kind of future-proof as possible if anything were to happen to it. The focus of the musical is a new ride. I will say that.
There's a fictional ride that is kind of the reason all the nerds have gathered is to come and ride this new ride. But
but no, we don't kind of reference any. I mean, we mentioned ride types. There's so we're going to have a digital program that will be linked in the description when the show's released, and it actually has something in it called the Glossary According to Goons, which is this 5-page dictionary, effective glossary that links that defines all the terms in case you do get lost, because not everyone might know what I don't know. One of my favorite bits is Leah, who is not a goon. She said to me, "There's a lyric here that mentions the phrase 'on park.' Is that correct, or is that an error?" And
here we go.
Here we go. I have an issue with the term "on park," so I put that in as a kind of joke. And I just love the fact that Leah said, "Is that wrong?" And no, it's absolutely right for some reason, and no one knows why. And so what was the question again?
I've scrolled past it.
Ride types, yes. Ride types, but we don't mention ride names.
No.
Yeah, but just echoing from what you just said, the whole musical, in my opinion, just feels like such a solid collection of Easter eggs that you need
so
to be
many Easter eggs.
Yeah, if you're in the theme park community, you'll pick them up like that. It's so many.
Some you will, some you won't, because there's some in there that not even I get.
Very obscure.
We're told to put them in. So even lines like "Easy there, Tiger" is a reference to something, and it's kind of if you know it, you know it. If you don't, it doesn't matter, because it's still a universal story that everyone can enjoy without getting all the obscure references.
There's one song in particular. It's just every line is pretty much a reference. It's like
I don't know which one you mean.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you do expect that. Expect to be hearing things and going, because that's what happens with this musical. Hang on,
I think people might have to listen to it a couple of times, and they might just notice little things they didn't before.
There's a question here which I know we've probably spoke about, but Adventure Owen says, "How are you going to film it?" So. You obviously, I think you'd said earlier you was planning to turn it into a bit of a film, or you're hoping to get it on stage.
Well, I mean, but the product we're releasing on February the 6th isn't a film technically. It's more of a slideshow, I guess, with kind of the pictures of the stage with the set, done to an audio thing that you listen to. But one day. I don't know, film it when we can, put it out there. But this is the product we're focusing on at the moment. We don't want to run before we can walk. But if he means how we're going to film the thing that we're releasing, it's an audio track. We recommend using headphones and getting the product from Aroma Prime to get the full immersive experience, and also just kind of pictures would appear on stage, and there'll be credits at the end and stuff like that. So we're going to try and make it as good as we can.
We've got Catch Kev Me Up. Who would win in a fight between the three of you? I'm not a very good fighter.
I've never met Owen in person, so I actually don't know if you're tall or.
No, but I could. I think we have to think about this in terms of like what instruments that we play and which instrument would be the most deadly in a fight.
But the fact Owen has a massive organ.
Oh, Nick, you're not supposed to talk about that in public.
Downstairs.
I've got a ring light.
I've got a keyboard, so I think Owen would probably win if he were to be beating people over the head with his
instruments. Pick that thing up. But I could do the accordion thing, like in pirate cartoons, it's like they have a bar brawl or something, and the pirate with the accordion goes like on someone's head, and their head goes through it.
Yeah. Then I'd probably just throw a grand piano out the window, like always happens in the Looney Tunes.
I don't know. I learned karate when I was about 6. So
there you go.
I'm no Cobra Kai material. I'm just saying that right now.
Cobra Chris.
See you now, your judo.
What we got here? So, hello, Digital Dan. How's it going? Get Binkers in the chat. Theme Park World Tour as well. How's it going, man? Hello. Immersive Screams. Do you think the music
Screams?
Well, do you think the musical will ever see a sequel?
Oh God. So the original story that I came up with was a character goes to America for the first time and goes to a park called Cedar Flags. So there could be a sequel, and the idea would be to get, I don't know, Tim Tracker involved and having go and look for Tim Tracker or something.
Track Tim Tracker.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, but I don't want to say it now because it might have to happen.
We've toyed with some ideas, but nothing's like set in stone.
We want to see how this. We want to get this musical great first, and as it's only 80 minutes or something, or even 70 minutes, we want it to be. We want to look at it once it's done and kind of treat it as a full. How do we make this a 2.5 hour evening, and then work on that?
Yeah.
So
yeah. There's more to be done with this first, I think. Yeah.
Just have loads of drinking games in between. I'll stretch it out a bit. Right. So, Bayarami, what's it like hearing your own music in parks?
Weird. First time it happened in this country was 2015 at Scarefest at Alton Towers, when I wrote the Subspecies Molly Crow and the Scare Zones Knots Infernus and Dark Apocalypse and the Towers Street track. And I was with a great creative guy called Pete Cliff, who was working at the time. We were walking down Towers Street, and he said, you should, and the thing I'd written was playing, he said, you should see your face, Nick. It's just the biggest smile in the world. So it's lovely, but you're always in the back of your mind listening for the mistakes. You're kind of, I'm sure Owen would appreciate this as well, when you hear something you have worked so hard on, and you with your videos, Chris, you can only watch it and notice the flaws. What's important, as I said earlier, and this is so important with art, is how everyone else is reacting to it. So I look at other people. I see if they're smiling or dancing or whatever, and that's the important thing, is you have to let go of your art and let it do its job to the wider people. I'm sure Owen will agree, and Chris.
Yeah, because obviously I've never done any music for parks. I'd like to, if there's anyone else.
Yeah.
But I have done a lot of music for theatre, for plays, and there have been times where I've actually changed something, like so that it changed between the opening night and the final night, because something came up or whatever.
Yeah, and also that you don't. I said on the Coaster Gen interview a couple of days ago that the final collaborator in a piece of theatre is the audience. So you are really looking at their reactions. With comedy, you're looking at what jokes work, what jokes don't work. With music, you're looking at pauses and where lines might get missed and stuff. So everything is that a great writer of musicals called Stephen Sondheim said a musical is never written; it's only rewritten. So it's constantly going on and changing all the time.
Yeah, like I said, that's exactly the same with videos. Like I'll go to you guys who comment, and sometimes you put something constructive down. Don't feel bad about that. Like, I'll read that and I'm like, you know what, I'll take that on board. Like I'll never see something like as a negative. You know what I mean? Unless you being rude or something. Like please be constructive. Like if something doesn't sit right in the video, just let me know and I can take that on board.
There is a question I want to pick up on. It's from Ian Mears, and it's when is the Aroma Prime scent going to be available? Very, very, very soon. So look out on their social media over the next couple of days, and you'll be able to pick that up. And please do, because A, it'll make the musical quite fun for you whenever you decide to listen to it. B, they, as I said, but they are supporting Calm as well. So, and if you can donate to Calm, please do. Just a couple of quid. It doesn't have to be a massive amount. Just anything, just to support them, because that's the best thing that's coming out of this product. I know it's fun and we've written silly songs and we'll have a bit of a laugh in our homes, but the important thing is that we do support Calm. So if you've enjoyed the Overture, if you enjoyed this interview, if you've enjoyed looking at Owen's pirate skull flag,
donate for the pirates, or we'll come and steal it from you or something.
I just want to say thanks to Luke. He's popped the link in for the Calm, the Just Giving page on there. So if you click on that link, like I said, even if it's a small amount, that small amount could make a massive difference to someone's life. It could change someone's life. So just it'll mean a lot to us. It'll mean a lot to them as well. So I mean, we've hit £700. I don't know if there's been any more yet, but like I said, I reckon this could easily get over £1,000 if we.
I hope so. And the nice thing is, it can just keep going because there's no deadline. The video isn't disappearing. We're always going to be supporting the charity through the musical, so it's not going to go down. It can only go up. So that's great. That's the nicest thing about the show is we're able to do that.
Like I said, I'm aware of time, so I might just wrap things up. So
have to go in a bit.
Fan the musical. It'll be premiering over on Nick Hutson's channel. I have put the link in the description below, so you can go there, hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Flick that
Jack
bell as well.
Silkstone says hello, by the way. So
Jack, how's it going?
Yo, Jack, what is up?
Zach episode. But like I said, with the donations as well, like the links there as well. If you can donate, that's fantastic. I just want to say a massive thanks to Nick and Owen for coming on the show, and as well, getting me involved in the musical. It's something I've always wanted to do, be a part of a musical and be a part of something like this. And I'm glad you said you did a good one like this. So.
You said you did it at school, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I did a musical at school, but school's different. This feels like a proper one. Les Mis.
Just randomly Les Mis.
I played some pimp.
Okay.
But like I said, fantastic. This theme park Fan the Musical, biggest collaborative project I've ever seen in the theme park community, and I cannot wait for each and every one of you to check this out because it's gonna be interesting to see what you all think, and it's gonna be great. So
check it out. That's all I have to say. But and thanks to Owen as well for all your amazing hard work. I'm glad that he's able to in this video get the credit he deserves, because he's been an absolutely astonishing kind of music collaborator for this.
Thanks, Chris, for having me on last minute. I know it was only about half an hour before we went, well, 5 minutes before we went live. But...
Nah, it's nice because it's just like an informal chat. Like I said, I don't do any podcasts or anything like that. But, you know, in the chat, if this is something you want to see more of on the channel, I'm more than happy to do it because I've really enjoyed it. It's nice having, you know, guests on. Luke's been a massive help as well. I want to give a shout out to him.
Cheers, Luke.
And yeah, honestly, any last words? You want to plug anything while we're here? Just go ahead.
Do you want to plug your page?
Yeah, I'll just say hi in the chat, and that's my YouTube page.
I will say hi as well.
I was going to say, is your name Susan? There we go. Nick Hutson, hi.
So that's my YouTube page. Do subscribe.
There we go.
And thank you everyone for being so interested in the musical. I think it's going to be great fun.
Brilliant. So thank you again for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this content. Flick the bell for more content like this. Keep all up to date. Obviously, I'm not going to say the videos on the left because it's a live stream. I can't do that, can I? So, yeah.
Or as we say in the musical, like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Head over to Nick's channel, subscribe. Head over to Owen's channel, subscribe. Anyways, guys, try a bit.
Thanks very much.
See you later.